Welcome to In My Opinion 4, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. You're probably thinking, since this is a DBZ game, it's going to be the same trip around the usual Saiyan, Frieza, Cell, and Buu saga. Well, you're half right. It's the usual sagas here, with just a little bit of the movie Battle of Gods. They just condensed them with a little twist. There are new villains afoot screwing around with time and changing big events trying to get the DBZ gang killed, which could lead to the destruction of, well, everything. So you are summoned by Trunks in the Supreme Kai time to save Toki Toki City and existence as we know it. It's a fun little story with cool moments of you saving and teaming up with some of the DBZ heroes. It keeps with the DBZ tone as well, you know, with the screaming, punching, powering up, and with a dash of comedic moments here and there, while being faithful to the characters. It was nice to see them try something a little different with the sagas with adding some original content, instead of the same exact story for the 100th time. They even added a little something for after the main story mode. If I had to point out a gripe I had with it, it's just I wish it was a bit longer. They have so much more source material to work with, and it would have been nice to see more time changes. Now before you head into Toki Toki City, you must create your own character. You have 5 races to choose from, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. There's Majin, Saiyan, Human, Namekian, and Frieza's race. You can make a male or female for Majin, Saiyan, and Human races. After you choose who you want, next you customize your looks, choose your name, and your voice. The customization option is pretty decent, though I do wish there was a bigger pool to pick from. Also, whoever you make the first time around, be sure that's who you want to stay with till you beat the game, since other character slots remain closed till you do so. You have 8 creator characters total to mess around with, and everything except your XP and level is shared. The combat itself is rather simple, but still very fast and fun, catching the spirit of the show. You can choose up to 4 supers and 2 ultras that range from beams, physical attacks, and stat boosts like the Kaioken. You have an evasive skill as well that lets you break away from being pummeled. There's also items you can bring into the fray, as well as these souls which activate under certain conditions. During combat you have a key bar which is used for all your supers and ultras, though more importantly you have your stamina bar. This allows you to teleport dodge incoming attacks, fly around, and teleport to an opponent if you send them flying. It helps you keep the pressure on your foe and connect combo chains. Though be careful since your opponent can break your guard and disable your stamina, leaving you wide open with no hopes of flying or teleporting away out of danger. This, with a combination of right specials, adds some strategy to the combat. You may have noticed neither characters are just standing there charging and then rushing to attack. Well, that's because charging is kinda gone. There is an item you can equip to charge, but it feels pretty useless. Your ki and stamina builds up from attacking and getting attacked. I like this way more since instead of stop, charge, attack, it actually lets combat flow a bit better. The roster isn't too bad, though I would have liked a much bigger selection, but as this is the first and I hope an ongoing DBZ game series, it's acceptable. There are 46 characters in all, with some just being different forms of the same character. Some of the characters have different skill sets and outfits you can pick out before you head out into battle. You can even make different sets for your created character. There were really only 2 characters who should have been replaced with better known characters. I'm looking at you, Apple and Raspberry. I mean, just why? I've seen the show a billion times, and even though these 2 had names, I mean, if they really wanted 2 Frieza henchmen, you could have picked Zarbon and Dodoria, or hell, even Q.E. These were 2 wasted character slots. While in the hub world of Toki Toki City, you can do a few things. You can of course take on the story quest. These move the story along and are pretty much beat up these people and sometimes make sure your allies don't die. You can always tackle these at your own pace, and if you feel like you're too weak to pass a certain section, you can always level up, come back, and try again. You're also allowed to redo any story quest after it's completed. The cutscenes are also rewatchable from the story quest menu. I actually like this since if I want to see a brand new character I made in said scene, I don't have to do the mission all over again. The problem I had with these quests is that some are downright cheap and unfair. There were times where I would fail mission because one partner AI was too stupid to defend themselves or run away and got killed. There's also the fact that some fights give characters boss armor, in which none of your attacks will make them flinch. Hell, even your ultras won't stop them, and they will just smack you in a mid-move or combo. It's really annoying, especially when you have two of them ganging up on you. Here's the kicker, if you die, you have to start the mission all over, which happened a few times when I had to protect a stupid AI while trying to defeat 20 enemies. This made me want to pull my hair out, and I can see how I could piss off others just trying to get through the story mode. The other type of quest you can tackle while in Toki is parallel quests, basically side quests. You unlock more of these by doing some more of the story mode, completing some of the parallel quests, and by finding some of the Dragon Ball cast asking for help. These again, like story quests, are just beat these people up with only a few having you collect Dragon Balls and bringing it back to a ship. They just add a time limit. You can also use any of the characters if you get tired of using your created character. Don't worry, since the XP still goes to your created character. These quests get a bit harder as you go along, adding more fights to the gauntlet and just making the enemies tougher. During some of the quests you can find materials to use later on in the shops. The rewards for completing the quests are the same as the story quests, which is of course XP and some cash. The amount you get depends on how well you did. There's also drops that you can get, such as super moves, ultra moves, capsules, Z-souls, and clothing, but it's all random drops. So yeah, you gotta hope and pray the game drops them after your quest is done. If not, then oh well, you gotta do it all over again. Yeah, it's kind of a headache that the unlocks are on the same level of getting a drop in the MMO. You can even end up getting the same exact drops. These fights also have secret conditions you can fill that can lead to an extra fight within the quest, which can increase your chance of getting an item, though you need to find out those conditions first. If you find yourself stuck, you can go online with the help of some friends or randoms, you can take on the quest. However, be sure you're the host, since the quest won't count as being completed for you if you're not. The connection for the few times I've tried it was pretty good, no real hiccups. If you don't want to go online for help, then you can bring two friendly AIs. For the most part, they have their head on straight, at least compared to the story mode, and actually help, and if they fall, you can easily revive them. Now of course, being a Dragon Ball game, we need them Dragon Balls. The way you go around collecting them is completely random and sort of annoying. You would think it would be those collect Dragon Balls quests, but nope. Instead, in some of the parallel quests, other Time Patrol Angels will randomly pop up and challenge you. After you win the fight, you get the Dragon Ball. Maybe. Yep, it's more randomized droppings. So you gotta hope the fight happens, and you gotta hope the item drops. Yeah, it's not very fun. I guess you're wondering what's your wish options for summoning the dragon. Well, there's things like getting a lot of cash, unlocking characters, being able to change the look of your character, redoing your stats, and more.
Say your wish.
One of the big features total for Xenoverse was the online hub world of Toki, and where you can meet other players, check out their characters, and maybe start a parallel quest with one another or fight it out. At first, the online hub was a piece of crap. It would ready log in, and if it did, it would work only for like 10 minutes and then kick you out. Sometimes it got so bad you weren't even allowed to go back to playing the game offline for some reason, and had to quit the whole thing entirely and start the game up again. However, it recently was fixed up and my experience has been way better with no disconnects. As mentioned before, you can take on parallel quests with people online and up to 3 players can participate. There's also versus ranked, player, and endless. Ranked is just 1 versus 1, while players are able to do 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, and 3 versus 3. Endless battle is basically King of the Hill where you fight players one after another trying to keep the top spot. My experience online was pretty good. While there was some laggy fights, most didn't fall into that. You also have your shops in Toki. Here you can buy items, accessories, skills, make some capsules to make new ones, and finally buy some clothing. There's a good amount of outfits to choose from, the only downside being you can't preview them before you buy. You also can't change the colors for the majority of the outfits, which is pretty lame. Each piece of clothing also has a stat boost and decrease, so be aware of that as well. There's also a gift exchange shop allowing you to send other players items you own and vice versa. Another feature this game has is the Master System, in which you become a student to certain DBZ characters and learn new supers and ultimates from them. To get these moves, you either have to get an item, or use a new move to give you a lot, and bring them along for some side quests. The Masters will even comment on how you're doing during and after battle. You can tell who's a Master by a certain symbol over their head. More Masters become available the more you level up and the further you get in the story mode. What's kinda cool is you can always change Masters even if you're in the middle of learning from someone else. There's no real negative consequence for it, and you can go back to the master anytime you want. That is, if you can find them. Yeah, this game sure loves to randomize everything. You have to go in and out of missions, and hopefully the master you want pops up in Toki Toki. While using your master's ultra, there's a chance you can activate a Z shadow. This makes the ultra more stronger and adds a little visual flair by adding your master shadow with your character. There are 12 masters in all, so go out there and get to learning. I'm playing the PS4 version. I must say the game looks great. Bright colors, nicely done character models, and the camera for the most part keeps up with the speed of the gameplay, with it spazzing out only in close tight corners. The action also never slows down, with the game keeping a steady frame rate. They did a rather good job capturing the feel and look of the show. Ultimates, however, kinda lost their luster here. They still look nice, but they just don't offer the big bang the previous DBZ games brought us. The voice acting is great as well, with the cast from Kai coming in and filling the roles. And there's a Japanese voice option for those who prefer that. The only bad thing is the lip syncing can be a bit hit or miss. While most of the game cutscenes are in-game graphics, we do get some nicely animated ones as well.
This is the master of the Time Nest. She's the supreme Kai of time, and a very important person.
Xenoverse was a good old time. It offered a simple yet still fun combat system, a lobby system which thankfully is working now, does something new with the old material, and even brings in some villains from the Dragon Ball Online universe. Not to mention it sports some nice visuals and runs smooth. The addition of masters did add some more interactivity with the cast, which is always nice, and gives more of a satisfying feeling when you gain a move from the master themselves. The game just needed some tinkering, such as the roster, adding more bang to the ultimates, making some of the story quests not pull your hair out annoying, and fixing the item drop rate. It's just a headache when you keep on doing the same mission over and over and either keep getting the same items or nothing at all. It really was starting to test my patience. In the end, it's a fighter, not an MMO. The game will keep you busy for a bit with side quests, maxing out the masters, playing online, and unlocking pretty much everything. If Xenoverse is a sign of things to come to the series, I'm very curious to see what's next. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this game, and for gamer's sake, keep gaming.